Chew food with care, with presence and grace. Each mindful bite sets the soul in place. As saliva flows and senses unite, let every cell dynamite. Make your body pure from root to crown. Melt away the layers that weigh you down. No cravings cloud, no restless flight, just peace that blooms in soft twilight. By Sadguru's grace, the path is revealed, the power of food divinely sealed. Chew it well, this sacred discipline, and let the soul transform from within. The method of food consumption has a direct and profound impact on one's mental state. Even when one consumes inherently sattvic food, if the Charvan Tarpan method is not followed, if the food is not chewed properly, if saliva is not mixed well, or if large portions are swallowed hastily, the transformation into sattvic essence does not occur. In such cases, the qualities of Raja and Tama can dominate the individual's mental and emotional state. Surprisingly, when tamasic food are consumed using the correct Charvan Tarpan method, even they can be transformed into sattvic energy. This is a mystical secret shared through the experiences of sincere spiritual seekers. Hence, individuals who consider themselves saints or devotees and who follow a sattvic diet but neglect the Charvan Tarpan method may appear physically unhealthy or energetically depleted. Even their meditation and penance may not bear desired fruit. This underscores the spiritual and physiological importance of understanding and following the sacred method of Charvan Tarpan. Let us now journey deeper along the spiritual path.
अगा शुचित्वगा ऐसे जयापासी दिसे अंगमन जैसे कापुराचे.
Chapter 13, verse 462. Significance. This teaching from Jnaneshwari highlights the profound connection between purity of body and mind and the natural clarity of camphor. Just as camphor is known for its transparent and self-purifying nature, the sages serve as examples of individuals whose outer actions and inner consciousness reflect true purity. Their virtuous deeds purify the external self, while inner wisdom cleanses the soul. In essence, true purity is holistic, encompassing both physical and the spiritual, much like camphor that radiates clarity from within. The accompanying verse emphasizes the importance of maintaining the body in a state of cleanliness, advocating that the outer body should reflect the same transparency and purity as camphor. Just as camphor allows light to pass through without obstruction, symbolizing the absence of impurities, the body should be free from external and internal toxins. For complete internal and external purification of the body, along with Charvan Tarpan, it is essential to practice effective body purification experiments and body detoxification techniques. At Mahayogdham, after becoming a seeker, these purification experiments and body detoxification techniques are taught and practiced under expert guidance. While external cleanliness may be achieved through soaps, cosmetics, and hygiene practices, inner purity is often neglected. To invite higher consciousness or spiritual awakening, one must first transform the body into a sacred temple. An impure body not only suffers physically, but also becomes vulnerable to negative, destructive thoughts, preventing the manifestation of the divine within. The nature of the mind is intricately linked with the subtle essence of the food consumed and digested. When food is rajasic or tamasic, the mind too adopts these qualities, altering one's nature and perception. A mind clouded by such impurities cannot retain divine impressions. It becomes opaque and foggy, preventing the divine light from the supreme consciousness from fully reaching it. The divine delta rays descending from the cosmic realms pass through subtle bodies like the physical sheath, Annamaya Kosha, chemical or etheric sheath, Bhavamaya Kosha, and electrical or energy sheath, Pranamaya Kosha. But they cannot penetrate a mind or mental sheath, Manomaya Kosha, tainted by impurities. Therefore, to receive and embody divine grace, the mind must be purified, made clean, clear, and receptive. Charvan Tarpan, when complemented by Kriya Yoga and Pranayam, the effect becomes even more profound, harmonizing the body, calming the mind, and awakening subtle energies. Daily commitment to these sacred practices not only nurtures physical vitality and mental clarity, but also refines the inner being, preparing the body and mind to become worthy vessels for receiving divine energy. This is the deeper purpose of embracing such holistic disciplines, not merely for health, but for spiritual awakening and inner transformation. Through these elevated disciplines, the flow of prana gradually turns upward, giving rise to urdhva prana, the ascending stream of life force. Like a divine engine, urdhva prana draws along with it the subtle train of mind, intellect, and ego, guiding them onto the path of transcendence. As this sacred current begins its upward journey, the seeker is drawn even closer to the eternal abode of the soul. In this divine ascent, the restless mind is purified into the luminous field of consciousness, ultimately settling into a state of unwavering stillness and serene awareness. In this sublime stillness, one becomes firmly established in the self, where the eternal truth of Sat, Chitta, Ananda, existence, consciousness, and absolute bliss shines forth in its fullest glory. This book presents such mystical yet foundational practices that aid the seeker in manifesting the supreme consciousness. However, the exact techniques for this advanced realization are not disclosed here. The aim is to establish the importance of primary principles that prepare the ground for deeper spiritual pursuits, such as how to cultivate divine virtues and make them permanent, how to generate waves of divine love and devotion, how to live joyfully in the material world while remaining spiritually elevated, how to invite Lord Sri Krishna into one's heart and physical being. These deeply transformative and esoteric teachings are preserved and practiced in Mahayogdham, where they are taught to sincere seekers. Currently available in the form of discourses, they are intended to be published as books for broader accessibility. These teachings emphasize unwavering devotion, complete faith, and emotional surrender, leading to the blossoming of divine virtues, detachment in the blood, raktat virakti, dispassion in the senses, indriyat vairagya, and discernment in intellect, buddhit vivek. Only those blessed with accumulated merit from past lives find a Sadguru, a representative of the Supreme who awakens their Kundalini and imparts divine wisdom. History is replete with such divine connections. Arjuna had Lord Krishna, Swami Vivekananda had Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, Tukaram had Chaitanya Babaji, Jnaneshwar had Saint Nivruttinath, Janabai had Namdev, Mirabai had Raidas, and Sri Guru Sri Bappa Sahib had Modiji Maharaj as his Sadguru. Through the spiritual power and grace of such Siddha Gurus, the divine energy is awakened within the seeker. These gurus, with their yogic mastery and profound devotion, draw from sacred texts such as the Bhagavad Gita and the Jnaneshwari to guide their disciples through practices like Karma Yoga, yoga of selfless action, Buddhi Yoga, yoga of discernment, Jnana Yoga, yoga of knowledge. With unwavering love and complete surrender, the seeker becomes a vessel for divine wisdom and energy. Through this journey, the seeker transforms into a guru himself, realizing the divine within. The Panduranga of Pandharpur, the Lord Sri Krishna of Goloka, now living within the temple of the human body. As Sant Tukaram beautifully expressed,
देव पहावया गेलो, तेथे देवची होऊनी ठेलो.
I went in search of God, but ended up becoming Him. This line encapsulates the seeker's ultimate realization that they have merged completely with the divine, becoming the very presence they once sought. After this divine awakening and guidance from the Sadguru, the five elements within the body, Prithvi, earth, Aap, water, Tej, fire, Vayu, air, and Akash, ether, become energized by the divine spiritual force known as Yogagni, the spiritual fire. The perishable atoms transform into eternal ones. The seeker attains mastery over the Panchamahabhutas and transcends the need for physical food and water. As described by Saint Jnaneshwar,
तहाने तहानची पियावी, भुकेली या भूकची खावी, अहोरात्र वावी, मवावा वारा.
chapter 6, verse 63. This profound verse illustrates the yogic transformation wherein the seeker, empowered by Yogagni through the Sadguru's grace, transcends hunger and thirst. The body is sustained by the inner fire and no longer depends on external nourishment. Another verse by Jnaneshwar explains the transformation of the physical body.
देह होय सोनियाचे, परी लाघव ये वायूचे, जेथ आप आणि पृथ्वीचे अंश नाही.
Chapter 6, verse 268. Here, the body becomes golden and ethereal, so light that the elements of earth and water no longer weigh it down. The seeker can draw nourishment from the mere essence of food and water without ingestion, having mastered the elements at the atomic level. At this stage, the Sadguru teaches, eat the hunger and drink the thirst. This signifies that the seeker is now nourished by divine energy transcending all physical needs. The verse also hints at the profound spiritual experiences that manifest in this state of spiritual elevation. These include direct realizations of the divine, encounters with various deities, absorption of Vedic knowledge, and the attainment of self realization or Brahma Sakshatkar. Those fortunate enough to reach this state may have the opportunity to listen to the four mantras of the four Vedas. Seekers or sadhaks can also witness or experience Savikalpa Samadhi, while after 12 years of intense penance, they may attain Nirvikalpa Samadhi. In this process, the devotees transform into the divine and they reach a state where they directly witness or experience the divine supreme within their mind and heart, both in their sleep and when awake, as expressed in the phrase,
पांडुरंग ध्यानी, पांडुरंग मनी, जागृती स्वप्नी, पांडुरंग.
the sacred process through which food, when consumed with awareness and devotion, charvan tarpan, transforms not just the body but the consciousness of the person, elevating them towards the divine.